What is up, my fellow Chibits? Today, I'm here to bring all of you the weekly manga chapter review of The Promised Neverland. Now, I know this chapter has been out since very late last night. I know it's late on a Tuesday right now when you guys are seeing this video. I'm very sorry for the delay. I got a little bit sickish and felt very ill this morning and last night. I didn't get a lot of good rest last night because of that. And I right now currently have medicine in me, so I'm feeling a little bit better. But please forgive me for, the delay on The Promised Neverland and the vlog. I'm gonna try to get the vlog up later today. So, getting off of that, let's talk about this chapter. The writer of this series continues to surprise me with how he does the tension. The tension of The Promised Neverland is the big thing I think I love about this series. No matter what panel, what page you're on, when you're reading this series, you always have this sense of fear, dread, despair, just all these emotions just coming out of you when you look at these panels. The beginning of this chapter is a perfect way to kind of summarize it. When you see Emma looking at all the children, and she's seeing all these cute kids we've seen from the recent chapters, they always have these cute faces on, smiling, happy-go-lucky, running around having fun like children would do. At the beginning of this chapter, when Emma's looking around, questioning who is the spy, all the children look demonic, like they're evil, like they're just trying to scheme something, trying to stab you in the back. That's how all the children look. And that right there just proves how good the writer can make this series, from when it comes to the art, to how it is written, the way the panels are moving. For instance, when you go from panel to panel, you see this progression, you see this dread in the characters of how they're looking around, trying to move to place and realizing if they make the wrong move, everything is fucked. And the direction of this series right now is such a good pace. It's like that type of pacing to where it's not too slow, it's not too fast, it's right in between, it's on that fence, and it's just going down that narrow line with great pacing. And I'm kind of happy that this writer of the series continues to impress me chapter by chapter. This is a great start, a very great start to a series. I mean, now that we kind of know that it's past that little beginning part, that hurdle with Weekly Shonen Jump, and it's not going to probably be canceled that quickly now, because apparently it's doing really good in the ratings and stuff. This is good news for The Promised Neverland. That means the writer won't be worried about being canceled, have to bring up all these plot points and stuff because they're being rushed or have to change the story. Right now, it seems like the writer is in a very good spot. Now, it's not at the level of Boku no Hero Academia. Obviously, Boku no Hero Academia's popularity when it first started just became crazy, even before it got an anime, but I'm glad to see this series doing so well and how many are starting to support it. Many are understanding how intelligent it is, the way it's written, the way the characters are so different. I mean, the tension alone that's going on through these different chapters is so good. I mean, Norman and Ray's commentary in this chapter, when they're bickering back and forth, and how Ray was saying, like, that's kind of fucking cruel. It's like you didn't tell them what really happened, how, everybody's getting killed and sold off for food or something, and we're on a farm. I like Ray's dynamic with Norman, and the way it's going and the way this is setting up, since we have technically three main characters. I mean, Emma is the main female character, like, she's the main focus character of the series. You can tell the way she's been presented, but if we look at everything, though, we have Norman and Ray also as the main characters of the series, and the way the direction of the series is going, especially with, them having to escape in 10 days, time is ticking down, there's a spy, information is leaking, there's, a child among them that most likely could be a demon or something. We have no idea. Regardless of it, though, is that the dynamic between Norman and Ray, the way they're talking with each other, it's setting up the possibility of some form of potential death for one of these characters, because we do know Norman is the type of character, which we've already seen from his mindset, the way he's acting in these recent chapters, he's willing to probably sacrifice everyone just for Emma, because that's how much he loves Emma. He loves Emma, so I'm willing to bet he's someone that's willing to kill all the children off, kill Ray off, kill even himself off, just to save Emma. And I feel like before everything is said and done with this arc, before they escape, you're gonna have it to where maybe Norman's gonna pull some crazy shit. He's probably gonna get Ray killed or something, probably hurt Emma. Something's gonna happen, because that's the way it's setting up, especially with how these two have been talking in recent chapters, and also what Norman has been doing behind the scenes, because he's having to change his way of thinking. He's gonna have to try to outsmart Isabella, his mother. I mean, the way it's going right now, there's a potential possibility that one of our three main characters might die. Maybe all of them might die, and we haven't seen the true protagonist yet of The Promised Neverland. We don't fucking know. I mean, that's a possibility. Like, this all could be a prequel, like, you know, like the prequel to what the real story is. Like, everybody might die in this farm, and then we have new kids come in and have to learn the truth too. Something like that could happen as well, because this is the beginning of a manga shonen, and anything can happen right now. There is still a likely possibility that our main characters could be exchanged and changed out, and they all could die, just to set an example for what this series is. Now, getting off of that, though, let's talk about what the series is in general at this point. Since a lot of chapters have passed, it's time I finally dive into it. As we know right now, you could call The Promised Neverland as a escape manga. A manga that's based on breaking out of a prison. That's what you could look at this manga as entitled. Like, for instance, you have like a survival game type series, you have an action battle standard shonen trying to become stronger, protect people, or you have the escape type series, or you have the comedy type series. This series is mainly focused around trying to escape out of their farm. That's what the main focus of it is. And we have to factor in, once they finally escape, what is out there? What is going to happen next? What direction is the mangaka gonna take the series? Because that is left up for many different ways, many paths that the mangaka can take. For instance, you could go down the path of a survival game. For instance, it's a survival game where the children end up and they have to survive in this game as, you know, these demons keep coming at them. It's like a survival manga. Or you could turn it into something like maybe a regular battle shonen, something like we would see from Naruto or, you know, One Piece or stuff like that. Or it could turn into a adventure series, also like One Piece, just going out, journeying around, seeing the world. Or it could turn into a series that's based on trying to do a revolution, kind of like Attack on Titan and stuff. So when you think about all this, you know, different paths that the series can take, there's a lot of potential here. I mean, after they escape, and so I cannot wait for the day to when we finally get outside the farm and see what's out there with the world building. I'm really looking forward to that day when it finally does happen, and I'm willing to bet it won't be too long. I could say, give or take, maybe 10 to 15 chapters, and we might be off the farm. I could see something like that. Unless it's dried out, then it might be 20-something chapters. But I want to bet the way it's going, though, it might be another 10, 15 chapters. At the minimum, I would say 5 chapters until we can completely get off this farm. So, getting off of that, though, let's talk about the spies. Okay, so, the two people that we thought might be spies is Gilda and Dawn. Those are the two adult kids, the next adultish kids besides our main 3 cast, Norman, Ray, and Emma. We have Dawn and Gilda that are most likely potential spies. But also, there's another kid, which I mentioned in the cover page of last week, that could possibly be a spy as well. Now, there was evidence thrown out in this chapter that there is a potential possibility that that young child that had the demonic shadow on the cover page of last week could be a spy, because he's very intelligent. He got a high score. It was stated in this chapter he's very intelligent for his age, so he could be someone that knows a lot, knows what's going on, and he could be spying on everyone and been telling Isabella or Crone what is going on. Now, getting off of that, though, let's talk about Dawn and Gilda. So these two characters, they have been built up for a while now to be potential spies, especially Gilda. She's a character that has shown to be kind of shady throughout all the chapters of The Promised Neverland. There's always a panel focusing on her, staring at Emma, Norman, and Ray, always looking them down, seeing like something's off. Like, you see it to where Gilda just looks over, you have an expression of her just looking worried or just concerned, and then that's all we get in the chapter from her. And we've seen this multiple chapters since like chapter 2 of the series of The Promised Neverland, where these shady glances are shown. And so there is a potential possibility for her to be, you know, a spy. Now, Dawn as well, it can be a spy too. So Norman, he kind of made an example and said, okay, so if we're going to figure out if these two are spies, I want to give them false information. Each of them are going to get false information. For instance, I want to give Dawn a different place where the ropes are, and I want to give Gilda a different place where the ropes are. For instance, let's say the ropes are under my bed, I want to give that to Dawn, and I want to say the ropes are somewhere else when I give that to Gilda. That's what he was doing. He was giving different information to these two people at different times because they wouldn't have, you know, information that would be the same. So if one of these tell, like, you know, Isabella or tell Crone, then, you know, they'll know who the spy is. Unless the spy was very smart and shady, was able to hear the conversation of what Norman was saying while not even being in that room. For instance, like, what if a spy somehow was hiding around the conversation, okay, like hiding in the room or something, and it wasn't Gilda, it wasn't Dawn, but still heard that conversation and decided to tell, you know, Isabella about the ropes being under Norman's bed. That is a potential possibility too. So there is a possibility that Dawn and Gilda still aren't the spies. It could be someone else pulling some shady shit behind the scenes. Now, it makes it quite clear, though, the person that might be the spy could be Dawn, though, because Dawn got the information that the ropes were under Norman's bed. At the end of the chapter, Isabella gets a paper that says the ropes are under Norman's bed, and Dawn is the one that got that information, and Gilda clearly was shown at the end of the chapter to be dragged off by Crone, so we know it wasn't Gilda that said that, because she got different information, and also Crone dragged her off. So what I think is going on there, if I had to place a bet on the table, I'm thinking Crone most likely has Gilda as a spy. I feel like that's what's going on here. For instance, Crone has her own spy. We know what Crone's trying to do. Crone's trying to become the new mother of the place, trying to overthrow Isabella. Now, Crone obviously knows that Isabella was playing her like a fiddle in recent chapters, but most likely Crone hasn't given up that, ideal, that goal that she wants. So I could see where Gilda might be that spy for Crone, the way Crone was acting at the end of the chapter, and then you have it to where Dawn might be the spy for Isabella. So we have two different spies, maybe working for two different people. That's what's going on here. And there is a potential possibility of a third spy from the little child that had a very high score at the beginning of this chapter. So, yeah, a lot of tension, because you really don't know at the end of the day who the spy is, because we didn't get to see Dawn handing the paper to Isabella. That's something we need to factor in. Dawn did not hand the paper to Isabella, at the very least from what we saw. We didn't see it. We did not see Dawn do that at the end. We just know Isabella received the paper. So there is a possibility that someone could have been listening on the conversation and then gave that paper to the mother, and then that's where she got the information. It looks like Dawn was framed. That's definitely a possibility. So, The Promised Neverland. A very good series, loving the direction of it. It continues to amaze me by the chapter, and I just can't wait to see what direction it takes once we're finally outside these walls. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. You all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.